All right, last lesson of this unit, solving problems involving volume. Now, I just want to point out that I'm going to show you some types of problems, but there are a lot of different types of problems out there that you might see. So just know this is going to give you some examples and hopefully some tools that you can apply to other problems. So first of all, just getting our brains thinking. Two boxes, two containers. How are they the same? How are they different? Go ahead, jot a few things down, turn and tell someone around you. What do you think? All right, hopefully you came up with some good things. Let's go ahead, keep on going. So the word problem protocol for our classroom just gives some helpful tips and tools and steps to go through. So first of all, just make sure you're reading the problem one sentence at a time. Make sure you really understand the story that it's telling you. If you don't really understand what's going on, it's going to be hard to solve it, okay? I can't just give you a set of steps like, well, you take the numbers and you add them, or you take and you subtract it. Look for these keywords, because guess what? Keywords, not a great strategy, because I can use a lot of keywords with a lot of different operations. So just know you really need to understand it. So you're probably going to have to reread it to really be able to picture what's going on, okay? Because then you have to make a plan for how to solve it and draw some sort of picture. Now, I don't necessarily mean if it's talking about dogs that you need to draw a dog. You might just need to draw some things representing the dog. Maybe if it's asking about how many legs 8 dogs have, you actually do draw some little stick figure dogs, but it might not be that literal. And we'll go over this year, we'll do a lot of word problems, so you'll hopefully get a sense of what I mean. Carry out whatever plan you came up with, and then check to make sure your answer makes sense. Some other questions. You can look for some keywords, just be really careful not to just go by that. Read it again. Make sure whatever math operation you choose matches the story. Again, we'll talk a lot about these, so you'll see a lot of examples. Think, do I have to do 1 or 2 steps? Make sure you look to see if there are number words like 1. Don't skip over those. Those are generally important. And then make sure you take your time and show your work. Also think about, what do we know and how can that help us? Sometimes getting started is the hardest part, but you just have to think, okay, if it's asking about volume, I know how to find volume, so let me think about that. It tells me these 2 pieces. Okay, that matches a part of what I know. And then we can sort of go forward, but just know that you might not see the whole thing right away, but at least start somewhere and think about what you know. Okay? For example, here's a problem. A fish tank has a volume of 24 cubic feet. What's the height? Okay, you might think, well, I see 8 here, I see 24, what do I do? Calm, take a breath. Our brains work better when they have enough oxygen, okay? So, we know that the volume is 24. Okay, so let's make a note. Volume equals 24. Now, let's think back to how we figure out volume. I know that the volume is either length times width times height. I should say not either. It's both this, and I can think about the area of the base times the height. Well, what did it tell me here? What is that? That's the area of the base. So I know this number is 8. I know B equals 8. So I know the volume equals 8 times the height. Well, it's asking for the height, so I don't know it yet, but I do know what the volume is. I know it's 24. So 24 is 8 times something, some mystery number. 8 times this mystery number is going to equal 24. So I could guess and check. I could use the inverse operation and do 24 divided by 8. I could count by 8s. Regardless of that, how I get there, I'll figure out, well, 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24. 3. If I did 24 divided by 8, that would also give me 3. Okay, so I know the height is 3. I started with what I knew, that formula. I looked at the numbers it gave me, and then I figured out what was missing. All right, similar one here. A jewelry box has a volume of 30 cubic inches. What's the height? See if you can figure it out, and then I'll go over it. Did you get it? All right. I know what the volume is. It's 30. That's what I know. I know the width is 3. The length is 5. I'm missing the height. Let's think about if it's length times width times height. Well, I know 2 of these numbers. 3 really if I count over here. I know the volume is 30. I know I'm going to get 3 times 5 times whatever the height is. And I might have said the opposite with length and width, but like I said, order doesn't matter. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. So I know 15 times something needs to equal 30. Again, count by 15s, guess and check, or use the opposite operation and do 30 divided by 15. You'll find that the height is 2. Okay? Lots of different ways it can look. So if you get stuck on your practice, ask for some help from your classmates, from me. Give it your best try. You can do it.